I'm Jenna Bosiger, and you're watching Cryptid Cryptids. On this episode, I went to explore the Salton Sea Caves, and there are more than one group of caves around the Salton Sea. This one is at the north end. I really just had a chance to look at this one cave hole window that I could see from the distance. And it was beautiful lighting that day, but a little bit hard to walk around on all the big rocks, but also be careful because there's some big snakes in the rocks. And the tufa is pretty amazing. It shows where the Salton sea level was and at the height that it was at for quite a while. These caves were underwater, and I wouldn't doubt that there were some sort of Salton sea creatures living in them, like the one that I saw on one of my trips there. What's interesting about my picture of these Salton sea creature is that the one that there was a movie made about it, and I got some pictures of it, and it also has some pinchers, and it's like got several arms, and it's just kind of strange that the picture I got isn't, a Bigfoot looking creature. It looks like the one that there's a rumor to. At this time of year, there were flowers blooming everywhere, and there were butterflies, and I was trying to take pictures of butterflies, which is really, really hard to do. When I first looked at this area from Google Sky Maps, I thought, oh, these look like little, fire pits, right? These groupings of rocks, but they're not fire pits at all. They're huge, massive rocks, and they could be what they're called rock cairns. That's a word I learned just recently when researching this area. And usually, there's a history in the area, and I'm going to make a special video about that. And it's about the Truckhaven Burial Man site, which is right near here. And it was under a rock cairn, some rock cairns, and also the U-Hop Burial Man truck site, which is nearby as well. So I'll make some posts about those because, for one, they're in the area, and for two, there's a lot of interesting things to say about those two things. So yes, these are really big possible rock cairns. And then also there's another area that looks like it could be a possible man-made ancient prehistoric stone wall with tufa on it. And if you have to, in the area, the Truckhaven Man, they did some radiocarbon dates, and you know how unreliable those can be, but 21,000 years old. And so if you think of how many thousands of years going by and some ancient man-made, I'm using that man-made hominid human type creature made this wall, it would take a beating after that many thousands of years, and it might look like this. There's some very interesting large stone tufa rocks. And I'm also going to be doing another episode on the things I've learned here about rocks and tufa and wonderstone and salacious ooze. Yes, I'll be doing another episode on that. But moving along, I'm walking into this rocky area. Things look much smaller on Google Sky Maps than they are in person usually. But so walking up to the cave, it was just amazing. And the lighting is amazing. The weather was amazing. I mean, it's very hot there in the summer, which is right now. But this time of year, it was so perfect. But anyways, I'm walking up and I'm walking around this, like the front of the cave. And it's like there's a hole on one side and then it goes through onto the other. But I'm trying to show on this one rock here in the front, there's this face, and it's really hard to show the nose, but it's the nose and the eyes, and it was really fascinating. And so I'm trying to walk around and get a good angle of it. And then as I'm walking around, I also decided to take some video, but the lighting was so amazing. I got completely distracted, and then I was over here by the time I remembered what I was doing. And so I tried to walk 360 degrees around this face to get a good view of him, and the lighting was just amazing. But then on the other side of this face, right where the hole comes through, there was this huge rock. It was so massive, it looks like an altar. I mean, that's just what it looks like. It's huge. And then right below it is a stone circle, fireplace looking thing. But, I just don't know how old. I wish I could tell how old these things are. It's definitely a very ancient prehistoric site. For several reasons. And I just wonder how old this stone circle, I wonder what they did here thousands of years ago. And I wonder who they were. And I wonder if there are any traces of them still here. I think these giant faces are about as good as a lot of the other ones that I've gotten in some places. I mean, it looks like, if it looks like it, maybe it is, maybe they're stone. I would like to get up there on top and take a better look at these things, but that would be a little bit of effort. Moving along, trying to get around and get as many pictures as possible of the area and the rocks and just anything I can find. Every time I go on a walk somewhere, it's like an investigation, and like I'm looking for clues, I'm looking for footprints, I'm looking for scat, I'm looking for rock formations and lighting effects and animals and photo ops. And so when I looked up and saw this hole, this window, this cave opening, I was kind of stunned. I mean, it was really beautiful. You could just think of the things you could do with the lighting and this hole, at different times. And I mean, it was a little rough getting up here, I'm not gonna lie, but it was worth it. Now, I can't say it would have been worth it if one of us would have been bit by the snake, but the pictures are pretty awesome, and the location. And there's a feeling there of an old presence. And I just hope they don't Some people look at this area as just being desolate and just there's just nothing there, and that's where they go to dump their trash and stuff and to shoot off guns and stuff. And I mean, I don't feel that way about this place. I think it's sacred land, and I just wish that people would leave it alone. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Salton Sea explorations at the Salton Sea Caves in Salton Sea. Thanks for watching.